I really had no idea how I wanted to start this review. There's so much history with the character of Superman, and it feels like everybody has their own opinion on this cultural juggernaut. From evil Superman to the original champion of the oppressed, or whether or not he has the trunks on, and a million other things, everybody has their own view on this character. Yet the build up to his latest iteration from James Gunn has to be one of the weirdest releases in recent memory. After years of silence from creative teams and teases of a possible return, it took an entire universe reset to get him back on the big screen. And people were not happy. Zack Snyder fans began to lose their minds over a superhero reboot. Casual moviegoers dogged on the different visual style. Marvel fans tried to pit the film up against Fantastic Four when the films were coming out 2 weeks apart. And for some reason, people tried to call the film woke before it even came out because the director said it had sympathy, and the main character, who's an alien from a dying planet, is an immigrant. Grifters need to calm down. While I'm not the biggest Superman fan in the world, I was really excited for this film once I saw the first trailer. I felt a sense of hope in superhero media for the first time since Across the Spider-Verse and Guardians 3, and I was really excited for what Gunn and David Corenswet had to say with his character. He brought him back to his roots. He was proud of the comics he was pulling from, and he had a vision for this character and something to say with his story. This was my most anticipated film of the year. I love Gunn's work on the Guardians trilogy, and The Suicide Squad is without a doubt one of my top two DC films. But at the same time, expectations for what this movie were higher than like Kite Man, and everybody who was anybody seemed to have their own weird take on this movie before it had even come out. And I had no idea whether or not I'd love it or just think it's fine. I knew I would like it, but I wanted it to be on the same level as the rest of James Gunn's work. Is it? Yeah, it's like really good. Like I have a feeling we're in a new era for superhero movies, you guys. The main thing people are going to say about this movie is that it's hopeful. Superman brings hope to the people of Jaranpur. He brings hope to the normal metropolis citizen, and he even brings hope for his other heroes to do better. He even fills the audience with hope for a better tomorrow, as the character was made to do. One way they communicate this message is through Lois and Clark's punk rock debate, and I love the way the conversation ends with Superman saying that kindness is the real punk rock. And then instead of the typical fanfare at the end of the film, we get a signature James Gunn needle drop with Punk Rocker by Iggy Pop and the Teddy Bears. And it's just incredible. It makes you walk out of the theater feeling like a better person. And it gives you a reminder to be a better person. I was a little worried about how many needle drops Gunn would try in this film, partially because I didn't think Superman of all people needed this in his movie, but the two used here are really well done. Gunn's signature style isn't as prominent here as it is in other films. However, that doesn't make this film any less than his others. I wrote the script before watching Troy Oboyo's 17's video, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that had this. I wouldn't say issue, but I don't know what the other word to use would be. The comedy is less cynical than usual, but through characters like Guy Gardner and Lex Luthor, he gets to have some of that cynicism and the snide comments that fill up his typical flicks. Make a move, Big Blue. Ugly dog in a cape. It's a very quote worthy movie, I will give it that. One aspect of it I adored was how it had more to say about all life having values, which is something I loved about the Suicide Squad and Guardians 3 especially. I know a lot of people are saying that this is sauceless compared to other gun films, but I really love the visual aesthetic. The colors are bright and comic booky, the visual effects are detailed, never feel cheap, the tone doesn't switch too quick, and we really get a fair amount of time for everything in this movie. There is a lot happening, and while I wish we did get more things fleshed out, nothing ever felt underdeveloped. This really feels like a solid way to introduce the DCU, and I love the Star Wars crawl in the opening using repetition of the number 3, which Gunn said was inspired by Alan Moore's work. I really love how James Gunn always pays respect to the comic books he's pulling from and their creators, like Grant Morrison, the original guy who made the Suicide Squad, having a cameo in the Suicide Squad, and like I just said, Alan Moore's work. The cinematography is different but bold, and I love the choices that they make with it. And while I was a bit skeptical of sticking with John Williams' theme instead of making something new, I love how they use it here. The score overall is amazing. I would probably say my favorite new piece, though, is Lois and Clark's theme. It feels so magical. And the powerful electric guitar version seen throughout the trailers appears at the perfect moment in the film. I never cried watching this movie. I know a lot of other people have said that they have, but this was the closest I got because the music was so powerful. It stood for so much, and the scene just made me say, yes, dude, this is Superman. Now, do I miss the needle drops? Yeah, a little bit, but the Spotify playlists that James Gunn made as a alternative are really good for the pretty much entire cast. The other needle drop done during Mr. Terrific's fight scene is terrific, pun definitely intended. The long take as he takes out all these soldiers with his T-spheres is just so cool. Superman never killing contrasts with the Justice Gang's lack of no-kill rule, and it's done really well, and the way he inspires them to play by their own rules and do good no matter what may come of it is also such a good detail. I really love how Hawkgirl takes care of the leader of Baravia. The whole Justice Gang is a lot of fun here, with Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific specifically getting a lot of recognition online. Guy Gardner was the funniest character, and no small thanks to Nathan Fillion. He has a charm with every one of his roles, and this is no exception. I know the new Lantern show is focusing on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, but I'm really looking forward to it now. I do wish we got to see more of Isabella Merced's Hot Girl, but I guess part of the universe kickoff is, teasing these characters more. Though I think my personal favorite Justice Gang member is Metamorpho, played by resident Baldy Anthony Kerrigan. The fully practical bodysuit was beautiful, and just like Hawkgirl, I do wish we got to see more of him since the few scenes we have with him are great. I especially love his reaction to Lex killing that innocent guy that helped Superman earlier. It really furthers that point of all life having value and the turning point for his character. And speaking of, dude, Lex Luthor, D1 hater. I have never seen a villain radiate pure hater energy like Nicholas Holt's portrayal here. Holt has been one of my favorite actors for a while now, and this role may be my favorite of his. Luthor's pure hate for Superman is unmatched by any other superhero film villain, literally creating a war, a clone, and a government military force all to kill this quote unquote lesser alien is what somebody in power would do to their enemy out of fear. I really love how he can low key be charismatic and also a rage baiter within 5 minutes. And as much as I hate to admit it, he has killer aura in some scenes, literally. I won't be the first to point out the Trump similarities, but I also have a pact with myself not to mention the devil on this channel. The film's meta commentary in general is outstanding. I love that the success of this film proves that the get woke, go broke mindset is just flat out wrong. And also, like, it's not a woke movie. James Gunn didn't make Superman woke. You just made yourself a bad person. Like, I especially love how it doesn't shy away from the original comic inspiration, making Superman a champion of the oppressed, or having parallels to his two Jewish creators. For those who don't know, Superman was created by two Jewish men as they were escaping anti Semitic Eastern Europe right around the rise of Nazi culture. And they labeled Superman as a champion of the oppressed, with his first comic appearance having him beat up landlords and abusers. As good as Man of Steel can be at times, I hate how it portrayed Superman as a Christ like figure, when he's more like Moses from an allegorical standpoint. I mean, the film has bigger issues, but that's just one that's always rubbed me the wrong way once like I found out this was how Superman was made and this is how Zack Snyder turned him. I don't know. There's a lot wrong with how Zack Snyder portrayed Superman, but that particularly is weird, dude. I don't like it. The name Kal-El literally translates to voice of God, and the character was denounced by Nazi Germany only a year after creation. So I love the several parallels and moments to tie him back to his roots. From an allegorical standpoint, putting a character that's not only immigrant coded, but Jewish coded into a D1 haters containment camp is going to make some eyes widen. But not only that, but they let a Jewish actor play the character for the first time in history. David Corenswet gave an incredibly vulnerable performance here, really letting him prove his range as an actor and proving that Superman can be an interesting dynamic character. I mentioned his conversation with Lois earlier, but I think my favorite scene with his is the interview scene. No, wait. It's the confrontation with Lex. His speech at the end is incredible. No. It's actually when he's saving everyone from the kaiju. He saves a squirrel. Like, that's Superman. All life has value. He saves a squirrel and he's not cheeky about it. That's my goat, dude. That's how you write Superman. And while I can't really touch on it too much because of YouTube guidelines is and how strict this platform is entirely, I love the stance this film has with the Jar and Poor Baravia conflict and how the message of all life having value is restated there. Going back to the interview scene though, the one thing I adore about it is Rachel Brosnahan's performance as Lois Lane and how this movie gets journalism right. What's essentially a B plot during the climax with her and the Daily Planet crew exposing Lex is just phenomenal. I started my new job as a reporter this month, and the importance of journalism in this really made me happy. I said Metamorpho was my favorite Justice Gang member, but Lois is my favorite character of the whole movie. I love her performance. I love her character. I love everything about Lois in this movie. She has this spunky energy to her, and the fact that she has a genuine care for Clark but him also being Superman is just a plus to their relationship. I can't wait to see more of their dynamic, but I also want to see a solo one off project with her getting a huge story. Sure, she gets a Lex Luthor expose, but I'd love it if she found something crazy happening throughout the Gods and Monsters chapter and brings it to the public, but that could just be me. Another part of the journalism portrayal I love in this film is the culture around the Daily Bugle. And my favorite other journalism character is my boy Jimmy Olsen. My boy accidentally pulled a model and is more interested in the scoop. He is literally me. He's gonna get some allegations for that, but we all know that's just how Jimmy is. If you've read a comic, you know this man is an accidental chick magnet.
The beautiful woman's interested in me.
Be all right, Jimmy.
I just want to write papers.
He pulled Supergirl multiple times, Power Girl, Lois, and her sister, and Eve in this movie. Also, I just want to say here that I really, really like Eve. I didn't know where else to put it in the script, but I really like her character. There are rumors of a potential Jimmy Olsen spinoff, and if we do get that, I want to see her in that. I want to see her relationship with him. I think they would be a really cute couple. But also, this man has the ability to pull a 10 out of 10 he wants and he always chooses a 10 out of 10 news story. I'm 3 pages in my script and I haven't even mentioned crypto actually. Yeah, dog was cute. I liked the dog. The dog looked like my dog, so like I was like, yeah, reasonable crash out Clark. There's so much to unpack with this film that I'll probably end up making multiple videos about it. But this video is getting too long, and all my praises will be said by other people. Considering this, Thunderbolt, Friendly Neighborhood Spider Man, and the new Daredevil show have all been critical hits, I feel like we're in a new era for comic book adaptations. I saw somebody say that from the early 2000s up until Avengers Endgame, we were in the golden age of superhero movies. Now, with the Spider Verse films, the Batman, and this kicking off the DCU, we're entering the Silver Age, and I couldn't agree more with that. I pray Fantastic Four doesn't prove me wrong. I'm more than excited for the future of this franchise and will be seated for their next outings, especially Supergirl and the new Peacemaker season. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10 right now, and I'm going to go ahead and assure y'all this is going to be in my end of the year ranking, just like Lost in Starlight. My former favorite film of the year? Yeah, my former favorite film of the year. I adored Superman. Everything about it was phenomenal. And while it's not a perfect film by any means, I do think it's one of the best superhero movies we've gotten in ages. But I can't speak for you. Go check out Superman whenever you can soon because it's absolutely worth it. Farewell, punk rockers.